Yeah, Duane, this one is an experience. It's a dream of gratitude. Fiston, who is a musician who writes music and even sells to others, says the new song is working with him very well, and anything that he conceives, anything that he thinks, anything that he does comes out well. And he wants to thank the real guides for working, for being with him in all his movements and all his thoughts, because his thoughts materialize in a way that even baffles him. And he again tells us a little hurdle that he had, and but which turned out well, which by the help of with the help of the real guides. Now he was to see one of his producers, one producer, and all attempts to see this producer were futile because there were people who did not want him to meet with this producer. And so in the dream, he finds himself about to go across a river, but with the bridge broken, and there's no way for him to get to the other side. But then suddenly there is some sort of miracle that takes place. The water is dried up, and he can cross to the other side. And then he takes a motorbike. The driver has to take him to a certain destination, and then as they're driving along, instead of taking him to the destination, to his destination, he drives into a police station and hits people down and hits things there and all the like, and then they are caught. And then while he's in that state, he gets he's told by one of the guides, that he should say that he is not responsible for the accident that has knocked people down and crashed into the police station, and that it was the driver's fault. So he says that, and the commissioner asks him to go to continue with his journey. And so in the very dream, in the waking state now, the next day he goes into a bar to have a drink, and then there comes the producer whom he has been unable to contact for a long time. And so he's very happy to see him and asks him what is happening, and then he tells him that he's been trying to see him for all this while, but he's been unable to get in contact with him. So he asks him, but you have my telephone number and everything about me, why not call me? And it seems that there were people who did not let Fiston get in contact with this producer. So this producer tells him everything, that people blackmailed him and said all kinds of things about him, and they will not let him have access to him. And so he's very angry with them, and he sent all of them away. So he doesn't want them to be around him again. And so you see, in this real side, in this situation, Fiston now has direct contact with the producer that he's been longing to see for long, but which these evil people around him have been preventing him from having any contact with this producer. So that's how it works out. And so he says he wants to, it narrates this real-side experience in order to show the help that the real guides have been giving him, and everything is running smoothly for him, and in fact everything is working out well. And you can see that it's really is opposed to what we've been hearing from other new friends, where things are not adding up with them. So Fiston is very, very happy, very grateful for the help and guidance of the real guides in his life. And this is a testimony that the new song works, and it gives one the direct connection with the real universes and with all life, and so he's happy. That's all about it. Take him back to show him exactly why things were not adding up, why he was not able to see this producer, what was actually the problem. And so in the dream, he saw himself in his as the owner of a cyber cafe, and there were no lights in his place. So he was busy trying to repair the fault, to fix everything, so that he could have lights and the cyber cafe will be working. So the real guys were asking him why he was so slow in doing this, and that it was taking a lot of time. They should hurry up. So he was talking and laughing with the real guys, and he hurried up and did everything, and the lights came on, and then the next day he was able to meet with the producer in question. So he said he forgot that part where he had asked the real guides to reconduct him to recast the dream and show him what was wrong. And then he had this experience. So Fiston is actually somebody with whom the real guides are working maybe in a personal fashion, like since they are friends.
Okay, again, Charles, how do you spell his name?
Fiston, Fiston.
Oh, Fiston, Fiston. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fiston. Yeah, that's very good. And the first experience you said, where he was it so he was on a motorcycle and he went into or crashed into the police station and he hit people? Did
Yes.
I hear that right?
Yes, and then they were arrested.
Yes. He was arrested or they were arrested?
Yeah, he the driver. So it's it's through the help of one of the real guides who told him to say that it was not his fault. That of the it was that of the motorcycle driver, and he had to say that. And then the commissioner let him go to
Okay, that's the
continue.
basic idea. Okay, so again, the boys already have all these people rounded up. So he crashes into the police station and he knocks down these people. Well, again, the driver, from what you're telling me, would be his personal self, which is okay. Again, he wants to get this done, and people are interfering. Well, these would be the people interfering, and so that's where everything is okay. So in other words, he didn't really hurt anybody. You might say he pushed these people out of the way, and this other experience is a confirmation too. In other words, again, he started the activity. He wanted to meet this director, so he did something. So let the Africans know that, again, it's not going to fall out of the sky. Nothing is going to fall out of the sky except chemtrails and some acid rain or hurricanes, etc. So again, don't look to the sky, look to decide to do something. So he did this, and he prompted himself, and the real guys asked for help to show him how to do this. Just like when we were in school or we had our parents, we asked them for help. You know, we need help to do certain things. And then we do it. We go do it. And so this is what has to be done. Also, I wanted to say that be sure and remind these people here, because they're wonderful. And a lot is lost in the translation, so that they, in any way, if they can, get these Skypes and constantly go over the interpretation so they better understand. Okay, so again, because a lot is lost in the translation, you do an excellent job. We all do. Even myself, from the Isss, what I see, and bring it forward. You know, again, there is to where each one of us can perceive this better and better and better. So, yeah, go ahead, Charles. That's very good. That's very good. Again, here's an example of somebody constantly, activating their position. He's not waiting for it to happen, but he's doing something. And that's what I'm doing with anything that I do in this world. I constantly do it, and then I usually have to wait for others to do their part, but I'm constantly doing something. And so he's a very good demonstration of the first, one of the first experiences you told today, where people see it on the real side, and see it's really to where they're given the hint as to what's already possible, but they must now decide it if they want it in a physical sense, instead of just talk, talk, talk. Yes, go ahead, Charles. Thank you.
You know, Fiston is a musician. He does music, and there are times when producers would ask him for maybe to, he has to do something for his music to be successful, to be widely appreciated. And some go to the extent of doing some black magic so that they are successful with their music. The music that they have produced. And so he wants to ask, as somebody who knows about the new presentation and all the like, what can he do in order to have his music, to promote his music without resorting to this kind of black magic practices that others may do?
Okay, here's the challenge, to wake yourself up and to also align yourself and recognize the isness life is. This is the challenge. So, yes, most people do give in to what is taking place in the world because the world is set up as a business. This is what the cabal, the one world order, has done. They have made this world a business world. prior to the Europeans coming over here. We'll just use that idea. It was the Indians living with the natural environment. But today, in this very now, it is a business world. And yes, it is a big challenge. And so look at some of the stuff, or so many of the things that Eve and I have created and what we've said, Charles, and that is just like, I'll use an example. Pray for purity. Most of the world is worshiping some kind of God ideal. And that's really what God is. It's just an idea. And it can be a reality, but it's a reality that people have agreed to from the idea of God. But anyhow, and his position is the same. He has a challenge here, just like I have a challenge to present this to the world. A lot of people think, oh, it's voila, it's some kind of magic, and it's all done. No, it's a huge challenge to fit in, to make sense of things. So here's the idea. Learn to see from how others are seeing. And that is that realistically, everybody wants to wake up and see what is real. That is already a given because that is who we are. But in the meantime, we have to deal with what we've created. And so the music industry has created a lot of funny stuff, thinking that, oh, this funny stuff, like rap music and this and that and love songs and, you know, all these things, they are good for business. They attract business. But actually, people are seduced and hypnotized. They're not necessarily agreeing with these things. So Fiston, lucky him, has the challenge to figure this out. In other words, how does he bring this in and at the same time utilizing some marketing ploy that is a benefit to everyone? And so there is always an answer. There is always another way. And just like what he's demonstrating, you know, he wants to succeed with what he's doing, which is fine. This is where nothing is negated. So lucky him, he has the challenge to bring this out in the new you. I would say stay close with this fella because he has an opportunity here to present this to the world if he has the courage to do so. He's got a lot to go, but he can do it. And so that's why the real guides are prompting him. So the answer he's looking for already exists. He just has to figure it out and bring it down. And he's a very good example of somebody that's doing something, you see. And he could organize the Africans to become more aware. But it takes a lot of courage to step up to what this world is doing. But you must realize this world wants to see something real, and it doesn't. Just like the kings and queens and the presidents of the world, you know, they are so used to seeing people beg and being polite and all this diplomacy to them, and it's all fake. They know it. And so they really want us to step up, but we must do it. So this is his opportunity to create something real with what he's doing. And just like me, I have the challenge here to create the new presentation and everything I'm saying and the pictures that we create, etc. And sometimes they look a little funny. All right, well, that's because of how people are viewing it, but eventually they do wake up. So, no, he has this challenge, lucky him. So to put this all together, again, he's the fortunate one that has the challenge to do this. So he wanted to meet this person. He's met him, and now of course you have to deal with the business world. I'm meeting the top people in the world, so to speak, and I have to deal with it. I have to figure it out, and I'm figuring it out. Me, a little surfer guy from Huntington Beach. But you know what? They're listening, and they want to listen. So this is cool, Charles. I would work very closely with Fiston. This is very important. I wouldn't let it go. I would pay close attention. And I mean you. You and Miriam pay close attention and work with this fella. This can be huge, and this can be done if he has the courage to step up and be real. All he has to do is be real and figure it out. There you go.